Well, that was surreal. A bit surreal, even if it is for just one episode, but what else is new? This is Mega Man NG, and I welcome you guys to another Flash episode review. Now, before I begin, I do want to say that, yes, Flash is going into yet another hiatus until April 10th. My guess is to set things up for the end of the season, because I think we're about at that point. But when it does happen, I'll be bringing out my full throttle review. I only wish that last season's one was better, or rather did better, because my Season 2 review was like my best I've ever done. Season 3, well, you can check the views, not as much. This is why my Flash reviews don't do well on my YouTube channel. But what can you do? I still enjoy doing it because I review the show. And for those who do take the time to watch it. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the episode Run, Iris, Run. And it's kind of fitting, and you'll see why. Here's the deal. I'll provide a summary as well as some of the things that were considered the main focus. Let us begin. It starts as just as any other day for Team Flash. Harry has been at work with a device that can hopefully help outsmart DeVoe, but Cisco, knowing the risks, is in full opposition of it. Meanwhile, Ameta commits a robbery until a guy does something that shuts him out of his powers, or rather in this case, swaps it with someone else. This has Team Flash curious. They investigate and learn who he is, but something happens that causes Barry and Iris to swap DNA. It's not good. With Iris having Barry's super speed, can she be able to control them? And with Barry on the sidelines, does he have what it takes to help lead the team and Iris? Can Team Flash be able to return Barry and Iris back to normal? I'm going to be honest with you. I did like this episode. This episode does have a few issues, but I personally felt that it was good. It was actually really good, as a matter of fact. It has an interesting premise, though. What if, for some odd reason, Barry and Iris suddenly switched? You know, like the movie Freaky Friday, where the mother and daughter would switch places to know what it's like? Well, it's similar here, except with a difference. All because of a bus meta. Yep. The villain of the week is not really a villain, but here's the thing, he just doesn't know it. He goes by the name of Matthew Kim, a guy who works at Central City as an EMT. And his powers allows him to swap the DNA of anyone he touches. Basically, whenever someone touches them, their DNA gets swapped, and when it lands on another, they switch places. He's not really a villain of the week, but he does in a way because, well, his actions pretty much caused Barry and Iris to switch their DNA. Barry returned to normal, and Iris was able to gain Barry's powers, aka she became a speedster. It was kind of interesting, but it was also kind of fun seeing Iris being the Flash for one episode. If it was a permanent thing and Iris became a speedster, it would have seriously caused the show to jump the shark. Not that it matters because it has done so. The show has done so many times. I don't know why, but it just does. As for Iris's costume, I'm not the least bit impressed. And sure, this was like made on a whim because, yeah, they needed a Flash to do something and Cisco had to come up with something quick enough. But I wish it could be a bit better. But surprisingly enough, when Iris moves about in super speed, her lightning is violet. Whereas Barry's is red and orange, Iris is violet. So I figured, I wish there was like a costume for her that would reflect on the violet lightning that she would move out when she moves fast enough. Like, have her costume be violet. Have her be similar to Barry's, but have it be in a violet hue. Because it would make sense. If they had them like that, that would have been really awesome. Although it does not hold a candle compared to Ralph Dibny's new costume, which I enjoyed, by the way. And yes, Ralph Dibny does appear in this episode. Unfortunately, he seems to be a bit of a dork. Or rather, a bit of a ditz, because he knows it's inevitable that the Thinker, or rather DeVoe, is going to be after Ralph Dibny once he gets his hands on all the other bus metas. Yeah, Matthew Kim is a bus meta, and in the episode revealed 2 other metas. The final 2 bus metas, and we're going to be seeing that happen in the next episode. But I will say it right here, it was alright. I felt that Ralph having this worry that it would be inevitable, yeah, it really kind of bogged him down because I always thought this guy would just be a bit more confident. Sure, he knows it's inevitable that DeVoe is going to be going after him, but come on. Be a bit more hopeful for the rest of the team. But honestly, you could actually relate. You could actually feel bad for Dibny because, yeah, he didn't get all this out of circumstance, all because of the fact that his friends wanted Barry out of the Speed Force. So in a way, they kind of created this whole situation. I like how Iris actually did mention of what happened with last year with Savitar, that it made her no longer feel afraid. We also find her reasoning as to why she doesn't want to be a speedster like Barry, because it's not her destiny. She's still a reporter, yes, but that destiny of being someone who wishes to save lives, that's Barry's job. And I personally felt I liked the episode a little bit more better. But like I said, this episode has a bit of issues. I feel as if, yeah, the humor has gotten a bit much. Well, there were some parts of it that were still funny. Cisco and Harry especially. I mean, good God, why do I feel like Cisco and Harry are a foil for each other? I mean, their interactions just literally make me chuckle at times, to the point where I'm just barfing out laughing. I actually found it to be rather funny, but I wish, like I said, there should be more of a balance. A bit of a balance, to be specific. But yeah, I felt that it was funny and I enjoyed it. Surprisingly, also, DeVoe does not make an appearance here. Not to mention, we know that Harry has been working on something so that way he could fight back against DeVoe. A thinking cap, similar to what DeVoe used when the particle accelerator explosion happened. Yes, they're now tying continuity in Season 1, which they have already done so already. But why do I have this weird feeling that it's all going to go really bad? That's why Cisco was in full opposition of it. He doesn't want Harry to do anything that reckless and not make the same mistake DeVoe made, because that would at least make the situation a lot worse. It could be good or bad for the team. So far, it has been good since it did help Iris be able to defeat the somewhat the guy who ended up becoming a meta due to the swapping. Yeah, Matthew Kim may not have really been a villain. I guess he's just a bit troubled. Can we blame him? Not really. But the only thing I hope is that Team Flash can keep him safe from DeVoe. I'm more curious about what DeVoe's big plan is. You guys know all throughout this season, DeVoe has been going after various metas. Various bus metas to be specific. All for the purpose of hopefully being able to beat Barry. What's his end game? What's his end goal? I don't really know for sure. But when that moment comes, I'm going to be curious as to how this is going to play out. Because so far, Season 4 has been a bit of a mixed bag. Not like Season 3, though. Season 3 did start off okay, but then got petered around and started moving up and down as such. Season 4, however, has been a bit questionable. There were some good stuff, but most of it was just on the mess side. I feel like the writing's going to the writing suffered. And I also know that this show is actually going to have a 5th season. The only thing I hope for Season 5, that they at least try to make some effort. I'm blabbing out a bit too much, but you get the idea. I'm going to give this episode a 7.5. The episode was alright, but it had a bit of issues. Some of the issues mostly relating to with the humor and all that stuff. Ralph Dibny's negativeness that he was in. Not to mention, I felt that there was no villain of the week. That wasn't really that important. What I felt was important was Barry and Iris, and seeing them switch places, I felt was really interesting. And in a callback from the pilot episode of The Flash, Barry tells Iris the same advice that Harrison, or rather Eobor Thawne of Earth 1, gave to Barry when Barry started out being a speedster. Instead of being run Barry run, it's run Iris run. And how fitting. I like how it ties continuity together, and it does it really well. I really do mean that. It made the episode a bit more enjoyable. And I felt that if it was possible, in another reality, Iris would have been a good Flash. The only thing that really stinks about it is that her costume needs work. And knowing us fans, we could actually design better costumes for Iris. Hopefully. So yeah, it's not much of a review. I kind of gotten way off track, but yeah, the episode was okay. It was alright, but just not as great. It's good, but not as great. The next episode review you guys are going to be getting is on April 10th. They're going to be having yet another hiatus. I don't know why, but it just is. Which hopefully can give me some time to recharge. I'm on a whim just trying to get these episode reviews up, and I'm a bit late. So bear with me on it. That's going to be it for this Flash episode review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please be sure to hit the like button. It really does mean a lot to me. I will see you guys on April, where we continue with this, hopefully all the way to the season finale. Look forward to it when it comes. This is Mega Man NG signing off. Peace out. See you in April.